everyone, and welcome to another brand new episode of Topic Thunder. Our show we do here on the Top 10, where we answer your questions, thoughts, and comments. Our patrons from the $5 and above level get to send in questions, thoughts, and comments about anything, and we answer them here on the show. Is that correct, Matt? Have I missed anything?
Nope. I think that is everything, and I believe it's your turn to start, so go ahead and start us off.
All right, let's get it going. This one's from Tim Williams, one of our favorite fans here and listeners on the show from Australia. Tim says, "G'day, blokes. Hope you've enjoyed some fresh air today." I did actually sit outside for about an hour. Blokes, I once ran with the Bulls in Pamplona, Spain. Wow, it's the scariest thing I've ever done. But how about you guys? What's the scariest thing you have done or would like to give a try? Skydive, hold a, quote, dangerous animal, or anything else? Thanks again. Thanks once again, blokes. You are still slaying it after all these years. There you go. Nost, scariest thing you've ever done or scariest thing you'd like to try?
Well, if it didn't cost so fucking much, which I understand why it does, it makes all the sense in the world.
Sure.
But I would happily swim with great white sharks, where you get dropped in that metal cage.
Yeah.
And it's something where Catherine thinks I'm nuts.
Right.
But I asked my dad if he would want to do it, and he's like, "Hell yeah, let's do that." But it randomly came up over Labor Day because we had a barbecue.
Yeah.
And one of our friends, who's a fairly timid woman, Catherine was like, "Well, Matt's an idiot. He would swim with great whites in one of those cages." And our timid friend was like, "I would do that."
Really?
Like, yes, you're behind steel. It's fine. It's fine. It does not, you are not the meal it's looking for out there in the water. So I am perfectly fine with that. Holding a dangerous animal, I guess it really depends on the animal.
Yeah.
Like snakes, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I've held snakes before. But if it's like a really venomous one, no, I'm not going to fucking hold it.
Yeah.
That one doesn't make sense. Like, would I let a tarantula walk on me? Oh, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
I'm a former arachnophobe. I used to be deathly afraid. And now,
really?
Basically, I just educated myself on which ones I genuinely need to be fearful of, and the rest I don't care about anymore.
Right.
They're fine. They're not going to do anything to me. I now will pick those up and put them in my hand and get them out of the house. Like, I don't have a problem anymore with it, just because I faced my fear and was like, I really only need to be fearful.
Oh, that's good.
Of a couple of these, especially like here in SoCal, black widows, are our biggest concern.
Wow.
And I've only seen a couple.
Yeah. I try. I've never seen any in person, I don't think. I just finished the Dark Winds series on AMC Plus, which was really good with the three Native American leads, I guess. And there's a Black Widow scene in that movie, or in the show rather, and I was just like, "Oh my god, no thanks." Yeah. So it's kind of scary, that situation. So thank God I've never done anything like that. I've touched snakes, doing those things growing up as a kid, going on field trips or whatever. I don't know. The scariest thing I've ever done, I guess two things come to mind. I think recently or a few years ago, two of my friends, female friends, we were walking in Los Feliz, and it was at night, and we were walking back from a club, and I saw this dude start to take a chair, because he had been, I guess, kicked out of a club. Maybe I've told the story on the show before, but he was slamming the chair into the door. And my two friends wanted to go and stop him because he'd apparently hit his girlfriend when he'd yanked back on one of the thrusts. And I grabbed them both and I said, "No, we're not getting involved in this." And shots started to ring out. So the person was firing into the bar. And so I grabbed them, but we just jumped down behind a car. One of my friends just took off across the road out of just utter fear. And my other friend kind of jumped down behind the car, and so I was protecting her while I was also looking up to see if that fucker was just going to start, shooting anybody in his way, because you never know once someone starts shooting
Oh yeah.
what they're going to do, what their intentions are. So that was scary. It wasn't a willing thing to be involved in, but that was pretty scary. But the willing thing I did do was to, years ago back in the military, I think I've told this story in my early 20s. A friend of mine, his sister was at a drug den, and we went to the drug den and we inside and got her out because he was like deathly afraid that she was going to be overdosed or killed or raped or worse. And just walking into one of those, and I've never done it since, and I don't know if I would ever do it again. But it was scary as shit. It is scary as shit. I mean, what they show in the shows or in the movies, that's just like a sample. Once you're actually inside it, and you can smell the desperation and the sadness and the you can sense the danger in every room you're walking into. It's a whole nother animal. So to me, that's probably the scariest thing I've ever done. Because I never served in war. I never. I served for 8 years, but I never got sent to a theater of war, so I never saw any action. But so that's probably the scariest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure. Like, I got hit by a semi once.
Oh shit!
But I don't really remember it, just because my brain blacked out. I remember right before it happened, and then I remember right after everything stopped. And I don't remember anything in the middle. So I couldn't tell you what it was like, just because my brain didn't record those.
Yeah, didn't process it.
Yeah, well, however long it lasted, which is probably, a second, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Felt like 10 years, but it was, not that long.
Yeah.
I crashed a 4-wheeler once.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm. But it's nothing on the level of I feared for my life. It just, your heart races in that moment and you're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff like that. Usually, if you could tell, even in my dipshit drunken days, if something was going to escalate to the point where we're going to get in a situation like this, I still had the presence of mind to be like, this is stupid, guys. As inebriated and dumb as I am right now, I know this is stupid.
Yeah, the survival instinct.
Yeah.
We got to get out of
I have avoided many things like that where my friends ended up getting into some serious trouble.
Yeah.
But you could see it from a mile away. It's like, if you continue doing this, you're just going to fuck up.
Yeah.
And they just fucked up. And I've never been the fighter type, so I've only come close to being in a fight like a handful of times as an adult, like 2-3 times.
Right.
Where genuinely I thought punches might fly. But it was never me instigating. It's just kind of one of those, he's my friend. I got to back his play.
Yeah.
And he didn't start this. So he's not in the wrong. If he was an idiot, like I had a friend get a gun pulled on us once when we were really young because he was running his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you made us all in error because we're associated with you. Stop running your fucking mouth. And of course, he was the smallest guy.
Of course.
Just yipping away. You're like, well, and looking back on it, guy pulled out like a 22.
Yeah.
Which in the moment was like, oh my God, there's a gun. And then you take a step back and you think about it like a couple of days later and you're like, yeah, it's 22. Like, what is a 22 really going to do? But it was, made my heart race.
It's a gun. It's still a gun.
Still a gun.
Yeah.
But it's not like he pulled out like a 45 or something. A 9mm.
Magnum.
Yeah.
30 Harry guns.
It's a tiny little 22. It's like, it's gonna hurt, but I got a good chance of survival on this. Would I skydive? Yeah, I'd skydive. I've never done
I think
it.
that's the one because I'm such, I have such a thing about heights. I think that's the thing that would be the scariest thing for me is jumping out of the plane. Oh my God. I just even thinking about it, I'm like fucking going crazy, man.
I got a buddy who was one of the first, like 2-3 people in the world that did those flying squirrel suits.
Oh yeah.
Jump out and you have the thing. Yeah. He shot a bunch of commercials because back in the day there was only a handful. And now he does it like just a couple times a year because pretty much every person he knows is dead.
Oh my God.
Well, have you ever seen the videos? Yeah, from doing it.
Yeah, they're insane, those videos.
Yeah. And he's like, that's why. He's like, the problem is you get older you need to take less risks when you're doing these things. And these guys still think they're 20 years old and they're in their 40s and 50s. It's like, you can't. So now he no longer, he still skydives, but he doesn't squirrel suit as often.
Yeah.
But he used to he'd go to the Alps once a year and just live on the mountain for a month. And he would jump off the side of the mountain, fly down into the town, get whatever supplies he needed to, and then take the train back up and then hike back up to his camping ground and just hang out. That's what he did for a month.
Wow.
That was his life. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. I would never do that in a million years. I would try it once. It's got to be a blast.
Yeah.
I would never bungee jump though.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That's scary too, dude. Yeah.
You're strapping yourself to a rubber band. Like, I realize parachute, but you got to back up. And
plus, the odds are once you hit the ground, you're dead, right? With the rubber band, or you might pass out before you hit the ground from the loss of air. But the bungee, that could paralyze you rather than kill you. And so there's even more of a fear of that one.
Now,
I think. Yeah.
Would you, like Tim, would you run with the bulls in Pamplona?
I think when I was younger, fuck yeah. Not now. Oh my God, no. I mean, give me a year to work out, lift weights, progressively get stronger and faster, have my endurance up, then yes. Because like watching Johnny Knoxville in the most recent Jackass movie get absolutely waylaid by that bull, and I'm around Johnny's age, like I felt for him. Like, and I don't usually feel for him because I'm like, you did your shit, you're asking for it. Watching his immediately becoming immobile as soon as the bull hit him, as soon as he landed, I was just like, yeah, fuck, man, that's scary. That's some scary ass shit. You know, when you're young, you don't give a shit. When you're older, it's like there's real problems.
I loved Jackass 3. Could be the hardest I've ever laughed in a theater.
The most recent one, or the
most Jackass Forever is the most recent.
Yeah, I like that.
So they did 3, and then they did like a 3.5 digital release.
That's right.
And then the newest Forever, and it's the first one I think I've ever been disappointed in.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a shame.
Hey, it's just like we're rehashing a bunch of ideas. Yeah, and they're bringing in all the new people, and that's fun and all. But I tune in to see them, and part of me is glad because they're old men, and you're not taking all the risks anymore.
Yeah.
But then the other part of me is like, well, then maybe don't do it because I'm tuning in to see you because you've been a part of my life for 2.5 decades.
Yeah.
That I don't care about these other individuals. And I, by default, know one of the people that's one of the new cast members.
Oh, okay.
And still, I was happy for her.
Yeah.
But I don't know her all that well. I'm very good friends with her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, that's awesome. You know.
Oh, is that the girl who got like the scorpion sting or whatever? Okay.
So I was like, it's awesome they're giving, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but I'm tuning in for Johnny and Steve-O, and Bam's not there, and Ryan Dunn passed away, and there were still some good moments in it. But
I don't disagree with you. The new kids or the younger people, they don't have the same magic. They don't.
Yeah,
you know, that happens.
Well, you don't have the history with them.
Yeah, exactly. That's
so it's just like watching you torture yourself isn't as much fun,
right,
as watching this group of friends do it to each other.
Yeah,
because that's
the honey on the balls was a guy I love. I was losing.
Oh yeah, with the bear and
my God, I was losing it.
Dude, what they do to him consistently over the years, it's so mean. It's great. That's what I'm tuning in for. It's just like you're torturing your friends, which reminds me of my friends, but we were never anywhere close to this.
It's crazy, yeah.
Never. But we'd still fuck with each other.
Right.
But it's like, that's what I'm doing. You can tell they're friends.
Yeah.
That sometimes they piss each other off and it crosses a line and they have to make amends somewhere.
Yeah.
But all the stupid shit that they do to themselves over and over, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Although I'm happy they got to say goodbye.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You know, they got their flowers.
So to speak.
Yeah. To me, it was deserving because I've been a fan for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, there we go. All right. Let's move on to another question. Thanks, Timothy, for that one. What do you got there, Matt?
Well, why don't we take a quick break quick before we get into our second question? We'll be right back after this quick word from our sponsor. All right. There we are. So the first one was from Mr. Tim Williams. Thank you, sir. Next one comes from Drake Fromsdorf.
Mm.
He says, John and Matt, sup?
So,
Can one of you read this doing a celebrity impression? Either one of you, don't be shy. Could be a 10 first. I think John should do it. Go for it.
no,
John.
no, you're the comedian. You must have an impression
I don't.
somewhere.
Nope. I don't do impressions. I've never done impressions. I am fascinated by them. The people that are really good at it. The people that just do I do Jack and I do Arnold. Of course you do. I got a Chris Walken. Of course you do. It's the people that have all the unique ones and be like, there you go. That's something right there.
I don't have any unique ones.
You do. Go on, John. What is that hidden talent? Let's see it. Let's see it. You know we do.
I don't know what I would do.
Where's the limey outlaw?
Oh, the Cockney? Oh, I don't know. It's been a while. All right, fine. Jason Statham, maybe. I don't know. Last time I wrote about the glorious Titans and my glorious fiance / watching habits. I see now going to Australian. That's what happens. I can't keep it. I can't keep it. I just can't maintain it. I've been working on a Lance Reddick imitation from Bosch.
Oh.
Bosch, get over here. I heard discussion on, I don't know, I can't do it. I heard discussion of being a Titans and Cardinals fan. I'm from Cape Girardeau, Missouri, where Gone Girl was filmed. Oh, how funny that came out. A group, I can't, just read the thing, Matt.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Look at go.
I grew up a Cardinals fan, parenthetically. Big middle finger to you, Matt. Right back at you, Drake. Don't watch baseball anymore, but the Cardinals can still suck my dick. Became a Titans fan at age 5 after they nearly beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. Rip Steve McNair.
Oh, yeah, McNair's dad. That's right.
Yeah, got shot. I remember that.
Shit. I forgot about that. Fuck. Okay.
And he became a Miami Heat fan in 2005 when they got Shaq and D. Wade.
Mm.
Back to the last submission I had and my question this time. We both have our own shows. Mine are Better Call Saul, mostly any Marvel show, etc. She has hers, Big Brother, mostly.
Oof.
We have a couple shows we watched together, and Stranger Things was one of ours together. I'm happy to say things have improved. Always know when to pick your battles, hence my question.
Mm.
After we finished Stranger Things, she asked me for a really good movie. She misses when I show her all-time greats. When I showed her all-time greats. Some that have shown her that she's loved are Seven, Inception, Hell or High Water, The Departed, Deadpool, La La Land, and Goodfellas. Interesting mix. That's always a good feeling to recommend a movie you love to a friend or partner, and they end up loving it too. My question, what are some specific movies you have recommended to someone and they love it as much or more than you did? P.S. We've started No Country for Old Men, and it was between that or Michael Clayton, which I haven't seen. I knew No Country would have been another movie to add to that love list. Take care, fellas. Appreciate you every 2 weeks. Top 10. Who by a?
I think you're trying to say Boomaye.
Boomaye is what he's trying to say. Tighten up, baby. PPS, let's take a bet here. You guys lay the terms, but I say the Titans finish with more wins than the Commanders and Bears combined. What say you? Again, don't be shy. Well,
you're
lost
0-1.
Yeah. So you got a hell of a hole to climb out of because we got 2 wins to your nothing.
I'll make a bet with you right now, Drake, that Ryan Tannehill is not your starting quarterback by the end of the season. I think he does not inspire that team to win anymore, and allowing a Giants team to come back and beat you on a 2-point conversion with a minute left speaks volumes to me about the kind of motivation within your team to win for your quarterback. And so I think the backup quarterback who was playing really well in preseason, he's going to be your starting quarterback by the 10th game of the season, 10th to 12th game of the season. Give me a little bit.
Really depends on where they're at in the standings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if he's right, Tannehill still has his job.
Oh, right. If they're winning, yes.
Yeah. If they're winning, they're not going to change.
Yeah, no.
It's just my question. So my brother's a Titans fan. I talked to him before the first game, and I was like, I just fear for you guys because I don't know who your wide receivers are. So it's just going to allow the defense to stack the box and be like, look, Derek, you're amazing. good fucking luck running against an 8-man front.
Yeah. I think that's
Um,
one of the reasons they lost is the Giants eventually figured out, let's just stack up on Derek, and Derek barely did anything.
Yeah, we'll see though. It's week 1.
Yeah, but they've got the Bills next week,
Yeah, it's a loss.
then the Raiders. Who
That's a
knows
win.
what's going to happen in that game?
That could be a win.
Then the Colts in Indianapolis. Then they come and play my team in Washington.
I hate to say it, but as of right now, I still take the Titans over you.
How dare you? And I agree. Come on, Carson Wentz threw those 2 interceptions. That tells you everything you need to know. So they've got the Colts on the opposite side of playing us, like both at home and away. Then they play the Texans, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Packers, and the Bengals, and the Eagles. That is a murderer row of teams.
Well, we'll see if the Eagles hype is real. Denver,
I think
we
it
still
is.
don't know. I mean, that end of game situation they had was befuddling to let the
Yes.
clock go 30 seconds down
Yeah.
and then just call a timeout and then kick it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Yeah.
Although, what is it? McManus is their kicker?
Yeah.
He was close,
He
but
was.
that's also a 63-yarder in Seattle, which is sea level.
Yeah.
That's a big ask.
But why are you not letting Russell? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, get 5 yards.
Yeah. If Russell can't get 5 yards, why are you paying him that many millions of dollars? You
In
gotta
that
see what
instance,
you
I
got.
agree.
You got to.
You have to go for it in that. You
Yeah, you
have
have
to.
to. You have to.
At very least, get 6 yards and then fucking kick it.
Fuck the percentages. You got to, see what
Yeah.
you got in your quarterback.
Go out swinging in the first game
Yeah.
against his old team.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
I mean, Tannehill didn't have a bad game. He was 20 of 33 for 266 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 8.1 yards average.
Yeah, but didn't most of that come late? Like,
Yeah,
I wasn't watching that game when
it
it was
did.
on. The Bears game was on.
Yeah.
And then it flashed over to that one. It's also a weird kicker's day. I mean, it was
Oh my God.
that Bengals-Steelers game was hands down one of the weirdest, if not the weirdest opening day game I've seen in forever.
I had to delay lunch with my girlfriend because of those end of game nonsense that was happening all across the league.
It's one after another after another.
Yeah, it was just, I was like, honey, the red zone, these games are still happening. So we had to wait.
Yeah, and it's just
So-
like they missed a gimme field goal, and it comes
Yeah.
down, the other team doinks it, and then it comes back, and then they miss. And she's like,
Yeah.
what is going on
It
here?
was madness on so many.
And that going for 2 from the Giants, the announcers called it nail on the head.
Yeah.
You're either going to be praised as a genius or just tarred and feathered for this.
Yeah.
So good luck to you.
Yeah.
But his question, so is there a movie that you've recommended that someone just absolutely loved it as much or more than you did?
Ooh.
Now I can remember.
Mm.
Let's see. I recommended 28 Days Later to a few people that loved it as much as I did,
Yeah.
just because it was like a smaller film. But then a friend of mine recommended The Raid to me,
Oh,
and he's like, "See it before it leaves theaters," and I was like, "Okay," and I
Yeah.
went and saw it, and it was absolutely fantastic. What about you?
I don't know. I'm sure, we've recommended films to each other through the years of the show. There was something recently that I saw that was your recommendation. I can't remember now offhand what it was, but I had never seen it. And I remember you were saying constantly that I needed to see it. And then I finally saw it and enjoyed it, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I recommend so many films all the time. I don't keep tabs on everyone. And if they come back and tell me that they like the movie, I mean, with Lindley, it's more a matter of, I've heard this is good. Let's watch it together. So, like, she didn't want to see Soul, and then when we saw it, she loved it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, she loved it because she doesn't like animation. She doesn't like to watch animation. It's not her jam. And we put it on, and I was putting it on while I was building furniture for us, just to kind of pass the time because I had to watch it for review. And she was on the couch, like playing on her phone, and then she got into the movie. And by the end of the movie, she loved it. So yeah, there are some films, or Bohemian Rhapsody, she really enjoyed, even though it's a bit of a lightweight biopic. She enjoyed the hell out of that. But yeah, I've recommended, The Godfather to people, and I've had people come back and be like, "Oh my God, you're right. It was so good." And
How do you recommend
yeah,
The
Westerns.
Godfather? Oh, you mean one of the most famous movies of
Yeah,
all time
I
you've
mean,
never watched?
but some people are like,
Yeah, they have it. They have it.
they have those blind spots, and you're just like, "Wow, really?" I know I've recommended Westerns to people. I've certainly recommended Giant to a lot of people who had never given it a chance. Just kind of threw the schmo at other shows. Western stuff. I just recently saw one that's really cool that I recommend called Man of the West with Gary Cooper. That's on Prime Video. Is so good. So I'm always still discovering Westerns, and I'm very selective because I don't like to go down to those serialized ones. I like to find ones that are kind of separated out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, like I think I recommended Gandhi to you. You finally saw it and liked it. So yes, there have been people who've watched movies I've recommended and have told me later, that
surprised at how good Gandhi was.
Yeah.
I mean, look, nominated for an Oscar,
right? What?
And Ben Kingsley, yeah. And it's just like it's going to be good, but is it going to be one of those where yes, it's 3 hours and it feels like 3 hours?
Yeah, right.
And that's fine. It's like at the end of it, it's a really good movie, and you can feel the monumental achievement. But I'm fine with seeing it the once, or I could watch Gandhi again.
Yeah,
like it's a long movie, but it doesn't feel like a long movie.
Right. It's one of those rare movies that do not feel like they're long movies when you're watching them. Yeah.
I remember once at a Thanksgiving on Catherine's side of the family, some of her cousins who are our age were having a discussion about submarine movies, and only one of them knows about this show because he listens.
Oh, nice.
At that time, he did. He listened every week. He's a fireman. He was like, dude, I'm on call for 24 hours at a time. If there's no call, like nothing coming in, we're just watching TV and doing shit around the firehouse. So it's like I listen to podcasts all the time. So he listened to our show pretty religiously. I don't know if he still does because I haven't seen him since the pandemic started.
Oh, okay.
But they were having a discussion about sub movies, and I was walking past. I didn't know. And he pulls me in. He's like, oh, if anybody knows. And I'm like, what? He pulls me in. He's like, they're trying to say the Crimson Tide is the best sub movie.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, dude, you got to see. And I started rattling off because I think like 6 months previous or something, we'd done sub movies.
Yeah.
So it was just all fresh in mind. It's like, well, you got to see Das Boot and see it with the subtitles. And if you've never seen Black Sea, that's a newer one. And then if you want an older one, Run Silent, Run Deep, I like. And if you want, but the Das Boot, they were like, what? And then his dad was right there and was like, oh, dude, Das Boot is so good. I'm like, yes, it's amazing. And then I think he watched it after that.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, no, I recommend movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally my job. It's literally my job to review movies.
So it's kind of hard.
Yeah, so to remember who is. But I've gotten many messages over the years, DMs, from people on Twitter and on Instagram saying, "Dude, you mentioned this movie," which I didn't even. Sometimes I don't even remember mentioning the movie in a because I talk on so many shows. It's like, I finally watched. You were right. It's so great. So it's always nice when people take your recommendations and take a chance on a film, because that's how I got into a lot of films. Is either reading it, the reviews or the recommendations in magazines, or reviews from other critics, or hearing people I respect talk about and reference certain films and watching them. So it's always great to discover those. And I've got fucking just mounds of titles that I have not seen that are considered great films of the time or of that era. And I gotta catch up at some point. And even COVID wasn't enough to help me catch up. I barely made a dent.
You're never going to catch up.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, you're never going to catch up.
There's not enough time.
Yeah, there really isn't.
No, it's not. So you got to pick and choose your battles.
Especially with what I do. Like, it'd be different if I didn't do this at all, and I was like working a regular job, doing whatever. Because then at night I could come home and watch a couple movies, maybe every night. It's no big deal. But I watch movies for a living. I watch TV for a living. So the fact that, but what I do on my relaxing hours is the same thing what I do in my work hours. It kind of messes with your head a little bit, So it's not always easy. And then you're like, well, why am I watching this? I can't review it. I can't get views off of it. Why should I watch it? And you have to like break your mentality of that sometimes when everything you do depends on, if people are going to watch or if you're going to do a review of it, So it's terrible. at times. Even though I'm very fortunate and blessed, it's also terrible at times.
Yeah, just
in
like
terms of-
anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Got a
yeah,
good
that's what I
side and
fear.
bad sides.
If I was to become like a sports writer or a sports anchor or a broadcaster, like my greatest fear with it, I would grow to hate sports or grow to think sports is a chore or a job. And I think that would really just do a fucking number on me mentally, because I love sports. Like, that's my release. When I wake up in the morning, I'm reading ESPN, The Ringer. I'm reading whatever I can get my Yahoo Sports, whatever I can, Bleacher. It's immediately before I read the trade magazines or movies or any of that news. It's the sports news I read first, always. So if I was to do this, if I was to be lucky enough to find a way to do it for a living, I would really hate it if I grew to see sports as just something I have to do for my job. It's a big fear.
Yeah, well, but thankfully that it seems as though it'll still just be a passion.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to beat the Titans. So tighten this, motherfucker. Tighten this.
Yeah, I mean, combined between the two, because I pegged us for. I'd have to look at our schedule specifically.
Yeah.
I figure we're going to be at the bottom of our division, or tied with the Lions for the bottom of our division.
Yeah.
And one of the, I don't want to say worst teams in the NFC, but we're going to be in the bottom third.
Yeah.
Just because we got so many question marks at so many different positions. But if Fields ends up being a good quarterback, we'll sneak out an extra 2 wins.
Sure.
We're not going to make the playoffs or anything, but we'll be middle of the pack.
Yeah.
But yeah, our combined wins is better than their total, hands down.
Yeah.
I would have taken that bet before. If he sent this a month ago, I would have taken that bet a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I think we can get 4 or 5 wins. I think you guys could get maybe a couple more than that. Yeah. Are the Titans going to go 13 and something? Fuck no.
No.
I don't even think they're going to win their division this year.
No.
Yeah. I didn't think that before that first game. And then that first game is like, you're supposed to beat the Giants. Unless the Giants are really good this year, but I'm not sure I've ever been a believer in Daniel Jones.
No, hell no. Fuck no.
Can Saquon stay healthy and just like, you should beat the Giants?
It's the same thing with Derrick Henry. Can he stay healthy with the because I mean, like, if he goes down, fuck the season. You're done. You're absolutely cooked.
Their counter would be they won without him last year when he went down, but
you had AJ Brown last year.
Yeah.
You have Kyle Phillips. You have Treylon Burks as rookie wide receivers. Your big acquisitions, Robert Woods out of the Rams and Austin Hooper, 1 reception total against the Giants. That's not going to get the fucking job.
Woods is suspect. There's a reason the Rams are willing to move on.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too.
Not saying he doesn't have the talent. He does, but it's just, I don't know, seems snake bitten.
Yeah. So.
But we'll see. But anyway, fuck your Cardinals, even though I don't watch baseball anymore. I hope you guys lose. I know that you're at the top of the standings in the Central. Congratulations. You still suck. And, I hope your season goes up in a flaming pile of poop. That's what I hope it does. You make it to the playoffs and you get swept in the opening round.
There you go. But we hope you...
That's my hope. If God is just and equitable, then that is what
God into this. Wow. Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, well, sometimes you got to invoke a higher power to right the wrongs of this world.
Oh, fair.
And the Cardinals being good for most of my life is proof that the devil exists.
I mean, the devil himself, Agent Kuya. That's
so,
Okay. Fair enough.
And good luck to your Heat this year.
Oh.
I will be intrigued, considering they made no real moves.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, good point. All right. Well, let's wrap it up there, man. We're over 30 minutes. Thank you all so much for listening to our Topic Thunder. We appreciate your questions, thoughts, and comments. Thanks to all the patrons who sent them in. Timothy Williams, Drake Farmsdorf. We appreciate it madly. Keep sending in your brackets, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be doing the brackets show every other show, I think, on these Topic Thunder slots. And should we announce the name, Matt? Should we announce the name? Okay, please go ahead.
It was I saw it on YouTube, and then you texted me before that. Actually,
Yeah.
the one that you'd seen, you're like, this right here is a winner.
Yeah.
Which is Full Metal Bracket.
Full Metal Bracket.
Full Metal Bracket. I'm trying to find the screen grab that you sent me
Oh yeah.
because it's in here somewhere. Anyway, go ahead and tell them about Full Metal Bracket. I'll find
The person sent it to me and they said, this seems to be the logical choice. And as soon as I read it, I'm like, I think that is the absolute perfect choice. Sent it to Matt. Matt loved it. So it was one of our listeners or followers, and he said, Full Metal Bracket. And I was like, that's genius. Perfect name. If any of you will want to take a stab at creating some kind of graphic for it, a logo for it, do an overlay for it, knock yourself out. I don't think we're going to be hunting down the usual people to make overlays for us. So if any of you who are fans of ours or listeners of ours who want to try your hand at it, knock yourself out. Full Metal Bracket. That's the name of it.
That was from Oliver Madrell. Maddrell is what you sent me.
Okay, cool. Oliver Madrell. There you go. Oliver, thank you. Great recommendation.
Yeah, and if somebody else said it as well, congratulations to you both.
Yes.
It's a great name. It's a fantastic name. Full
Metal.
It's
ours now. So you can't have it. So just letting you know.
But that is it. So you can follow the show at Top 10 Show, all spelled out, or on Instagram and YouTube. It is / the Top 10 Podcast with the number 10. And you can follow me anywhere at Matt Nost.
You can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and Instagram. All right, y'all take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of Topic
Thunder.